Hey everybody, it's Friday. Do you know where your bass player is? Well, I can't say for certain, but I guarantee he's not at practice. All right, welcome back to my weekly show where I try and help you guys out with recording questions to the best of my ability. You got a cool question, I want to hear from you. Leave one below. If it's cool, I think people will learn something. I'll be more than happy to put it on the show. Anyway, let's get right to it.
Do you think people run away from Reaper as their DAW just because price is so affordable compared to Pro Tools?
I think that's got a huge factor, to be honest with you. I mean, I've used Pro Tools. Yeah, it works. Reaper does pretty much everything that Pro Tools will do. A lot of DAWs are very similar to the fact they will get you the same thing. The tools might be different. It just really comes down to a workflow. I like Reaper for its customizability and just a drag and drop interface. I think that's fucking great. I think the fading system's great. I remember working with Pro Tools LT a number of years ago on a record where I had to time align all the drums because that's what the mixer wanted. And you wonder why I hate time align drums so much. Anyway, yeah, the whole Pro Tools Beat Detective system was a bit of a nightmare. It's more like Beat Detective if the detective was an absolute fucking idiot and couldn't understand what fucking drum beats were. That's been my experience anyway. Maybe it's gotten a little better over the years. I don't know. Pro Tools used to be the industry standard. These days, not so much. It's kind of, just kind of branched out in a whole bunch of different things. Like I said, I like using Reaper. I'm really impressed with the new Cubase as well. Still got to learn the editing system on that. Generally, if you're working with Reaper, there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. I think a lot of people look at the price and go, oh, this possibly couldn't be any good. Just kind of like how some people overlook Korean guitars and favor North American made guitars. Not because of quality differences, but because of price differences.
Hey Glenn, Nick here, your sponsorship rep from Harley Benton. You forgot to give Harley Benton a shout out in this video, which is clearly a breach of contract. Harley Benton expects to return in sales from the money we paid you. If you continue to support other brands in your videos, the contract will be breached and you'll have to pay back 80% of the $100,000 we paid you.
Oh, wouldn't that be a nice problem to have? Yeah, where was I for this deal? That being said, some of the Harley Benton stuff is pretty freaking cool, and no, nobody's paying me to say that.
It sounds great, but what about high BPM stuff? Triggering with samples is almost essential, right?
Okay, you left a little bit of detail out in that question, but I'm gonna hazard a wild guess that you're talking about triggering kick drums once you get past 200 beats per minute. Did you ever think of considering maybe adding a second kick drum? Wow, good idea, man.
People who complain about gatekeeping have no genitals.
Dude, you're absolutely right. That was like, you're gatekeeping. No, you're using computers to enhance your performance. That's not metal, that's bullshit. Oh, you're gatekeeping. It's fucking weak. You know what? I got a great idea. You know what? I haven't done this in ages, so I'm gonna do a t-shirt based on this comment. Guys, check this out. There's no whining in metal. Get yours today. I'm going to put it on sale this weekend. Just a very limited run on this one. There's no whining in metal. Get it today because it'll be gone in a couple days. Clock's ticking. Follow the link in the description below. All that good stuff. And now it's time for...
Can you stop screaming all the time in your videos? Every second sentence he said is like this, predictable and boring. I know you have a gimmick on YouTube, but come on, yelling. You were probably going to say something important about drums and samples, etc. Well, I wouldn't know because the constant screaming turned me off. This is your actual personality, then you might have a mental issue. Have it checked out.
Well, SP, if you're watching YouTube to get turned on, there is something definitely wrong with you, good sir. And now for anybody who's watched this show for any amount of time would realize, yes, I do tend to yell a lot. The fuck is your problem? Look, if you want to be bored to death, there are many, many other YouTube shows out there that will do that and do it really well. Henning Pauly comes to mind, Trey Xavier over at Gear Gods. Those guys are bland, stale, and boring. Feel free to watch them till you fall asleep. The rest of you guys stick around. Hey, thanks so much for hitting the subscribe button and all that good stuff. I try and keep it somewhat entertaining.
I have a lot to look forward to in this industry. I'm currently going to school to be an audio engineer. Any tips from somebody who would be interning / just starting out in a studio on how to deal with rowdy clients?
Learn some patience. Believe me, musicians will try your patience. That and never ever expect musicians to clean up after themselves. Trust me, they're fucking pigs and you're going to spend every day at the end of the session cleaning up after them because you're talking about people who can't remember an arrangement or how to tune their instrument. Don't for a minute think that they're going to remember how to clean up after themselves. You're also going to have to get a little bit more tolerance for bullshit like drinking in inappropriate times and places, that kind of thing. I haven't had too much drug use in the studio. I think I've been fortunate with that, but I've definitely heard some nightmare stories about, people shooting heroin on the drum room floor and insane shit like that. It's never happened at my place, but if it goes down, just grit your teeth and bear it. And remember, you charge by the hour for a reason.
How do you not go back and fix your old mixes? We record in the home studio of our lead singer / rhythm guitar player's house. He'll go back and tinker with mixes to improve in skills and learn the new equipment he's bought over the years, but he'll then want to re-release the mixes because they're better. I'm about to go all Kylo on him and tell him to let the past die. Kill it if you have to. Cheers and fuck you from Tacoma.
Dude, if you can have your guitar player watch this next segment, please do, because I've got a very special message from him. Dude, get the fuck over it! It's done! Yeah, I've had that happen before. We want to re-release it. Here's the thing. The 10 people you already sold the disc to aren't going to want to hear a new version of it. I get it, you're improving. Take that and move the fuck on and put something else out. A great example of that would be Institutionalized by Suicidal Tendencies. The original came out in the mid-'80s and it was fucking great. I think it was on the Repo Man soundtrack. It was a very funny video, and it was really cool track. Production, not the greatest. In the early 90s, they re-recorded a better version of it. Wasn't better. It was technically better, but overall vibe, no. Didn't quite have that same certain charm to it. So yeah, get the fuck over it and move forward. If you keep fucking redoing mixes in your past, you are never, ever going to move forward.
Listening to old mixes is always hilarious, especially if it has some effect that is very of its time. In the 90s, the megaphone phone call filter was cool. I think every demo my band had recorded had 7 times a song. Haha.
Yeah, that was kind of overdone. The telephone bandpass, drop everything below 400 hertz and everything above 1 kilohertz or something like that. Get that telephone thing. Seriously overdone. These days, it's all, I record real drums, but I just layer a bit of samples on top of it. Yeah, let's hear the fucking drummer, not the drummer plus somebody else in a way more expensive studio with a way better drummer than you have playing the drums. I don't know, maybe I'm just fucking weird. I like to hear real drummers, and the imperfections can be somewhat better. Myself, I've definitely go back and listen to certain mixes I've done over the years and go, geez, how the fuck did I ever do that? I maybe have wanted to re-record a couple of things, but I mean, like, shit, going back 15, 20 years, shit like that. When I was really young, I didn't know what the fuck I was doing. We talk about vibe one. I'm talking about maybe doing a cover song or something like that. I still, to this day, can't stand listening to the second Woods of Ypres record. Some great songs on there, but, it just brings back too many fucking nasty memories about how I fought with the talent to get things a certain way and usually wound up losing. And it was to the detriment of the record, in my opinion, in a lot of ways. You learn from your mistakes, you grow from your mistakes. And this is the thing, you're not perfect to start out with. Chances are you're going to suck. And it just takes time. And the great thing is you can look back on what you've done and go, holy fuck, I can do that so much better now. The trick is to keep doing it. And don't get discouraged no matter what anybody tells you.
First of all, fuck you, Glenn. My band is starting to record our rehearsals, but our room is really small and I'm having a lot of problems with mic bleed on the drum mics. Is there any way to deal with it, or we should just invest in some way to isolate the drums from the other instruments? We are using some really cheap drum mics because Brazil, and recording multi-tracks into a Behringer XR18 with Studio One. Cheers from Brazil.
Well, I don't know if you're just recording your rehearsals or you're trying to create an album or something like that. If you're recording an album, what I'd say is maybe figure out all the tempos of your song and have your guitar player lay down scratch tracks and then record your drummer after the fact and lay those in, and then come back in with the guitar players, vocalists, all that, and lay those tracks on top of the drums. That would be how I would do it in a small room, especially if it's just a one-room situation. I mean, that's the thing. You're using real drums and you're using a cheap set of mics. You're only going to get so far, especially if you've never done it before. There's definitely a learning curve. It can be a little steep. Please watch my series, How to Record Heavy Drums. There's a lot of great information in there that will help you get going on your way and hopefully get you the results you're looking at. Now, there's nothing wrong with that Behringer unit you're using. I've heard some really great things about it. But the thing is, if you guys are all playing in the same room and whatnot, and you're just recording rehearsals, that kind of thing, throw a mic up at the end of the room and just go for it and see what you get. Maybe experiment with placing the mic around the place, and don't worry about getting massive separation, because if it's just so you guys can hear yourselves improving, you're not releasing it and whatnot, it's nothing to lose sleep over. Anyway, best of luck to you, dude. I really hope it works out well for you. That's so awesome to hear from a band from Brazil, by the way. I think that's just great, and I love hearing from bands all over the world. I think it's just simply phenomenal.
I doubt Glenn will see this, but I'm a drummer who's interested in playing guitar. This may be a stupid question, but what's a good beginner setup in terms of guitar and practice amp for under $300?
Hey, Liam, I saw your message. More than happy to answer. Thanks so much for writing in. I think $300 might be setting the bar just a little bit too low. $300 for a guitar might be a good place to start. The absolute best beginner setup I can think of at this point would be, say maybe a 7-string Legator or something around the $300 mark. Maybe you can take a look at some of the Harley Benton stuff. The Harley Benton 1x12 with a real vintage 30, that's maybe $120, and maybe a Joyo band amp. That might be another $200. Like the Zombie is my personal favorite band amp. That's going to be pretty cool. So that might be about $500 or $600, a little bit more than you're expecting, but that's going to be a quality rig that will get you some awesome tones and won't completely break the bank. I'll put some links in the description below. You can check them out and all that good stuff. Anyway, thanks so much for writing in. Always love hearing from the new guys.
Glenn, what's your opinion on bands using backing tracks live? Not talking random samples or synths. I mean full-on pre-recorded guitar tracks to add to the mix.
You know, I mean, like, it's one thing to play an intro tape to build a mood, that kind of shit. But yeah, if you're singing to stuff, playing other guitar parts and things, I don't know. All I can say is this. I was just watching Pink Floyd live at Pompeii the other day, and I'm watching Echoes, and I'm like, holy crap. This is just 4 guys in this band, and they are just fucking killing it on this groove, and there's so much going on musically, and it's just the 4 of them, and there's no bullshit going on. It's just 4 guys grooving out, and it was fucking amazing. I don't know. I think I'd rather listen to that than some band that needs to bring a whole bunch of backup bullshit to pull off their live show. Now, a lot of you guys are going to go, oh, Devin Townsend. I know he does that a lot. I saw that thing with Rings of Saturn where he had a backing track and somebody thought he was faking as a guitar playing. So there is that aspect of it as well. I'd really like to see musicians just see what they can pull off with just themselves without any artificial enhancement. That's kind of what I've been saying about the whole in the studio thing. And I think doing it live with a whole bunch of backing tracks is just a little bit phony, in my opinion. I mean, like, if you can't bring it live, then why bother? Now, bear in mind, I think the guys in Rings of Saturn are amazing musicians. I think Devin Townsend's an amazing musician. I'd like to see them bring it live with all the extra stuff, and believe me, I don't think I'd be disappointed either.
Hey Glenn, do you have any tips for recording a vocalist who likes to do Rob Halford-style high notes?
Yes, make sure to record them an awful lot. We've got way too many death metal screamers and not enough Halfords in this world. Use the best mic you can. Use the best preamp you can. Some of the stuff from Jay-Z mics or Roswell are every bit as good as the super expensive Neumanns. Believe me, they're just fucking phenomenal. Use the best preamps you can. And again, you don't have to spend a shit ton. Some of the warm audio stuff's really great. Some of the stuff from BAE is fantastic. You know, it's not the super expensive stuff. Just make sure to keep the vocalist away from cheese and dairy, that kind of thing, until after he's done his tracks. Don't let him drink cold water when he's drinking. And just give him lots of space. Make sure he's not eating the mic. You can get some of that proximity effect, but back him off a little bit for the high notes. And when you're doing your harmonies, back him off several feet from the mic, and you'll find your tracks will sit together that much easier. Awesome to hear that. I hope we get to hear more guys like that. And dude, honestly, I would really love to hear how that mix turns out. Please submit it to Merciless Metal Mix Reviews. Hopefully we can put that on the show at some point, because I'd be really interested in hearing somebody like that, because it's so fucking rare these days.
You missed the perfect segue, Glenn. Smash that subscribe button, punch that notification bell, but don't do it to your guitars and drums, moron!
That was fucking great. I just might work that into the show. Thank you so much.
Samples still sound better. This coming from a drummer with a classic metal ego.
And, well, you're certainly entitled to that opinion, but honestly, I don't think samples sound better. My favorite records from the golden era of classic metal don't have any samples on them. You listen to the drum sounds on British Steel or Peace of Mind, they just sound fucking amazing, and I don't think samples have made things better, in my opinion. Again, let's hear the drummer.
Let's make some metal, motherfuckers! Outro idea.
Well, thank you so much, Rebar77. I might actually use that. I might work that into the show. Thanks so much. All right, so I was going to wrap this show up, and I just ran out of space on my SD card, so let this be a lesson to all of us, and that is make sure you've got appropriate space available before hitting record. You'd think this was something I would learn after 5 years of doing YouTube. Anyway, just want to say thank you so much for watching the show. Thanks for subscribing and being with me here week after week. By the way, it's NAMM weekend, so if you're at the show and you see me, come say hi. Believe me, I am there to meet people, shake hands, say hi, all that good stuff. I definitely want to hear from you. So if you can't be at NAMM, leave a comment, leave a question below, because I definitely love reading all that stuff as well. Anyway, until next episode, get out there and make some metal, motherfuckers.